going on, traders? Happy Monday. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend, but as usual, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know exactly how my trading went, so let's jump right into it. And as you guys can see from the screen, overall it was a green day on my account, right? So I am grateful for that, but in terms of how I did day trading wise, I only traded SQQQ today, and as you guys can see, it says I'm down $62 on the day. I wasn't actually down that much. The only reason why it's a bigger loss than what I actually was down is we are holding on to a swing trade of SQQQ with 88 shares, right? We've been holding on since Friday, so that's why I do have an additional loss on the day. But as far as how I actually did, I finished down $22.80 on SQQQ. You guys can see my filled orders. I really didn't do much active trading today, right? I try to keep it simple. I bought in, right, averaged up 3 times, and then I ended up selling after market close. So let me go ahead and explain why I was, or why it took so long for me to actually sell out, right, and why I wasn't trading in between. But as far as what I saw going on the day, right, the NASDAQ was obviously been very overbought lately, right? We've been having this really nice run where we've been ripping it, right? Every single time we pull back to the EMA, we end up forming a new high, right, and surging. And so we're at a point now where we were pretty overextended, and I'm not the one to try to want to predict where the top is, right? But in my opinion, I feel like we pushed up so much that we're due for a bit of a price correction. And so that's why I decided to focus on SQQQ, right? That was my game plan going in. And so as far as where the market was trading during the pre-market session, right, we saw that it pretty much opened, right, and started to consolidate and trade sideways. It wasn't really actively uptrending the way it was here, right, or actively selling off. We were just trading sideways, right, in between, kind of the bottom and top view up, right? And so as far as what I saw going on, I wanted to wait for this thing to push up closer to these resistance levels it had, right, so that we can potentially test it as a resistance and get rejected. And so as the market opened, I did see the market start to push up, right? You guys can see this increase in volume started to drive the NASDAQ up. And so what ended up happening? Well, I bought in for my first entry right around this area, right, where it was testing these previous resistance levels it had during the pre-market session. And as it continued to climb, I tried being very patient, right? And around 641, when I saw this thing push up, right, and start to struggle a bit, I added another position there of 25%. And although, I wasn't adding necessarily a true sign of confirmation, I was making sure to, at the very least, right, not be in fully positioned until I actually saw confirmation of a sell-off. And so I just thought this thing pushed up too quick within a short amount of time that we were due for a little correction. And so we start selling off, and that was great and all, but we actually ended up bouncing off the EMA and forming a new high, right? And so as you guys can see, the last few times I was averaging up was around 650, right? 649. So it was at these areas where it was very overextended. And what made me want to fully set a position size here, well, we were testing on the bigger time frames, right? That resistance level that we were, experiencing earlier on. And so that's why I decided to send it fully at the top around here, right? I was fully prepared if this thing continued to push up and break that support. I would have had to stop loss out and be down, a decent amount, maybe $150 on the day is my guess, right? So 1.5% loss. But if this thing actually started to sell off, right, then that ultimately could have led to an even bigger profit. But unfortunately, there was a mistake I made right today that I want you guys to learn from, and it's pretty much this huge move that happened here. So I was fully in here. This thing started to sell off very aggressively, and within a matter of a few minutes, it had such a nice sell off, right? And me being, too naive and hopeful, thought that we were going to continue to sell off or at least push up before we continue to sell off, right? And so that's not what ended up happening, right? We ended up bouncing and completely reversing, and that pretty much, that movement there was the last time it ever dipped down to these levels, right? We pretty much were trading between the middle and top VWAP for the remainder of the day. And given I was in SQQQ and I didn't even lock in any profit here, right, I put myself in a really bad spot on the day, right? This thing sold off really quickly, right? I could have done my part in locking in profits, right? At least half of my share size or 3/4, so that if this thing were to reverse the way it did, I wouldn't just be riding this thing back all the way up, right? and waiting for this thing to approach these levels again. It was pretty much just a waste of time the remainder of the day for me, right? Because I was just hoping that it would sell off to the point it did, and it never ended up doing that, right? I thought we were going to experience a really aggressive resistance, but that's not what ended up happening. We started to actually show signs, of a bit of an uptrend and more consolidation, if anything, right? But, it has been validating this pattern where any single time, we make a new high, we end up consolidating and bouncing and forming a new high, right? We consolidate, right? We bounced here where we previously did, and we were testing a new high, right? We didn't actually end up breaking above this resistance, but that's where we're going to see, tomorrow if we are going to be able to break through it, or we are going to, respect that resistance and get a correction in price there. But, as far as my performance today, definitely could have done a better job, like I said, of buy or selling at the low points. And once it approaches these, higher resistance areas, it wouldn't have been a bad idea to re-enter SQQQ and sell back at the low points, right? Rather than just be hopeful that this thing is going to continue to sell off on the day, right? I should have just played it smart. Noticed that there was a very valid support level around this area, and done my best to lock in profits around there, buy back in when it made sense, right, when we were more overextended. But because I wasn't doing the best job of locking in profits, right, it ended up just being a waste of my time the rest of the day, right? I was just watching my profit go up, then down, right? Then up, then down, then up, then down. So it was really just, not the most productive day. So heading into the rest of the week, I'm going to try to do my part. If there are these really fast changes in direction, I'm going to do my part in locking in some profit, right? So that if it does push on back up to those levels, I have some more cash to be able to buy back in, right? In case it does start to continue to act bearish and sell off. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss in today's video, right? As far as any other notable mentions, Tesla is trading at nearly $190 a share, right? So that's absolutely crazy to see. I'm actually, excited for there to be a possible pullback on this price, because if we were to end up pulling on back, I am very, comfortable with loading up with more shares on Tesla. I see lots of value in this company long term, but that's just my 2 cents, right? You guys don't have to care about it at all. But that's pretty much everything. I will be posting a recap tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys then. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop a comment, and I will be more than happy to answer anything for you or break down any stock if you want me to. Just go ahead and ask below, and I will be more than happy to. But I will see you guys then. Take care and have an amazing rest of your day.